The letter from 100 years ago. Chapter 1. The Discoverith summer of 2025 was an unusually dry one in the small New England town of Ravenshallow. The sun beat down relentlessly, turning the grass yellow and the once vibrant gardens into parched patches of dirt. People sought solace indoors, behind drawn curtains and the hum of air conditioners. For Evelyn Moore, a 34-year-old history teacher and amateur genealogist, it was the perfect excuse to spend her days in the cool, musty basement of her grandmother's Victorian-era house. The old home on Hemlock Street had been in the Moore family for generations, a creaky, charming structure filled with stories and secrets. Evelyn had inherited it after her grandmother's passing the previous year. Since then, she had been slowly cataloging its contents: photographs, trinkets, old documents, anything that could tell her more about her roots. On a particularly sweltering afternoon, Evelyn found herself in the attic instead of the basement, brushing aside cobwebs and wiping sweat from her brow. She was organizing old trunks when she discovered one that had eluded her earlier searches, a dusty, mahogany chest tucked beneath a moth-eaten sheet. The lock was rusted, but with a little coaxing and a crowbar, it popped open with a groan. Inside, nestled between layers of yellowed lace and bundled newspapers, she found an envelope. It was sealed with wax, the imprint of a rose still clearly visible. The paper, though fragile, was remarkably well preserved. Her name was on the front, Evelyn Moore, written in looping, elegant script. Confused and intrigued, she carefully broke the seal and unfolded the single page inside. The ink had faded slightly, but the message was still legible. Dearest Evelyn, I know you are reading this exactly 100 years from the day I wrote it. I cannot explain how I know, only that I do. What I must tell you is urgent, and it will change everything you believe about our family, our town, and your place in it. There is something buried beneath the garden, something that was never meant to be found. But now, the time has come. You must dig beneath the stone, Angel. What you find there will lead you to the truth. Yours in time, Margaret Moore. June 15, 1925. Evelyn stared at the letter, her heart pounding. Margaret Moore, her great-great-grandmother, had died under mysterious circumstances in 1925. This letter was dated just 2 days before her death. Was this some elaborate family prank? A forgery? But who would go to such lengths? Evelyn turned the envelope over in her hand. No signs of tampering. The paper and ink were consistent with the time period, and the handwriting matched Margaret's diary entries. She stood slowly, the letter trembling in her hand, and looked out the attic window toward the overgrown garden below. The stone angel stood there still, as it had for as long as she could remember, its face worn by decades of weather. Something was buried beneath it, and now, she had to find it. Chapter 2. Unearthing the paste. Evelyn waited until dusk, when the heat had finally begun to wane. Armed with a flashlight, a shovel, and the letter folded neatly in her pocket, she made her way to the back garden. Fireflies danced lazily in the air, and the scent of lavender drifted on the wind. It was almost peaceful, if not for the rising sense of dread tightening in her chest. The stone angel loomed over a small patch of dry earth, her wings arched protectively, her face serene. Evelyn had always found it slightly eerie, though she never questioned its presence before. It had been there for as long as she could remember, its base surrounded by overgrown ivy. She cleared the plants away and began to dig. The soil was tough, baked hard by weeks without rain, but Evelyn pressed on, driven by a strange, urgent energy. An hour passed. Then, too, just when she began to doubt the letter's authenticity, her shovel struck something solid. A hollow clunk. Heart hammering, Evelyn dropped to her knees and began brushing the dirt away. Slowly, a wooden box came into view, small, about the size of a briefcase, with ornate brass hinges. She pulled it free from the earth and sat back on her heels. The box was locked. Back in the house, she tried every old key she could find, until, at last, one clicked into place. Inside, wrapped in silk, were a series of documents, photographs, and a second letter. This one was unsealed. If you are reading this, then you have done as I asked. What you hold in your hands is the truth our family buried to protect the town and ourselves. In 1885, a secret society known as the Order of the Eternal Garden was formed here in Ravenshallow. Their goal was noble at first, to preserve knowledge and protect ancient artifacts. But by 1900, they had grown corrupt, greedy, dangerous. One of those artifacts, a stone tablet, was entrusted to our family for safekeeping. It is powerful, and it is cursed. My husband, Thomas, tried to destroy it. Instead, it destroyed him. I have kept the tablet hidden all these years, but I fear others will come looking for it. If they find it, Ravenshala will never be safe again. You must decide what to do next. Burn it, bury it again, or use it. But be warned, once you open that path, there is no going back. Margaret Morevland sat in stunned silence. The truth was stranger and more dangerous than she had ever imagined. Chapter 3. The tablet. It was buried deeper in the box, wrapped in black cloth. The moment Evelyn touched it, a cold shiver ran up her arm. Unwrapping it, she uncovered a smooth stone tablet etched with symbols she didn't recognize. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. She took photos and sent them to Dr. Luc Amarin, a symbologist she had studied under in college. Within the hour, he replied, "Evelyn, where did you find this? These markings are Proto-Sumerian, and some are entirely unknown to me. You're sitting on something potentially ancient and incredibly rare. I need to see it immediately." But Evelyn hesitated. The moment she uncovered the tablet, strange things began happening. Her phone would die at random. Lights flickered. Shadows seemed to linger a second too long. She placed the tablet in a lead-lined box her grandfather once used for film development and locked it away in the cellar. But the sense of unease remained. That night, she dreamed of Margaret, young and vibrant, her eyes filled with fear. "You must decide," she whispered. "Before they do." Chapter 4. The order returned. Evelyn woke to the sound of glass shattering downstairs. She reached for her phone, dead again. Quietly, she crept down the steps, heart pounding. In the living room, she found the window smashed and muddy footprints leading toward the cellar door. Whoever had broken in knew exactly what they were looking for. She grabbed the old revolver from her grandfather's war trunk and descended. The cellar was dark and still, but the box, the tablet, was gone. Whoever they were, they had taken it. Chapter 5. Chasing Shadows. Marin arrived the next morning, furious and frightened in equal measure. "You don't understand," he said, pacing the kitchen. "That tablet is more than an artifact. It's a key. If the Order has it, if they've reformed it, could be catastrophic." He explained how a similar tablet was rumored to have been stolen from the British Museum in 1899 and never recovered. Legend spoke of its ability to open doors between worlds, metaphorical or literal. No one was sure, but those who sought it always vanished, or worse. Together, they followed the clues left in Margaret's letters. Coordinates, names, dates, all pointed to a location just outside town. The ruins of an old asylum, burned to the ground in 1926. Chapter 6. The final truth. They arrived at dusk, flashlights cutting through the trees. Beneath the crumbling foundation, they found a hidden chamber. Symbols identical to those on the tablet lined the walls. In the center, a stone pedestal. The tablet sat atop it, glowing faintly. 3 figures stood around it, cloaked and silent. Evelyn stepped forward. "Why are you doing this?" One figure turned. A woman, young, but with eyes that seemed centuries old. "To finish what your ancestors started," she said. "To unlock the garden," Dr. Marin whispered. "The Eternal Garden wasn't a name. It was a place." A door began to open in the wall, shimmering. "Not of this world." Evelyn had a choice. Destroy the tablet, enter the garden, or walk away. She looked at her hands, her heritage, the century-old burden she carried, and she made her choice. Chapter 7. A garden beyond time. The moment Evelyn touched the tablet, the chamber lit up. The door pulsed with life, opening not just to another place, but another reality. Flowers bloomed from stone, vines crept across the air, and beyond was a garden unlike anything on earth, lush, vibrant, timeless. She stepped through, and the door closed behind her. Epilogue. The letter rewritten weeks later. A new letter appeared on the desk of Evelyn's study, in her handwriting, though she had never written it. "To whoever finds this, I walked into the garden. I cannot say where or when I am, but it is beautiful, and it is terrifying. The order no longer exists. I saw to that. The tablet is gone. The path is closed. But the story must live on, because someday, someone will try again, and they must know. Evelyn Morjune, 15, 2125. And in the attic, beneath the dusty old chest, the letter waited for someone else. Someone 100 years from now.